heart attack? Really quick, that's what I'm being told. He passed in August. Okay, that's what it is. So he's already making me feel heart attack and that he just passed in August because I'm being told it's recent. Okay? What happens sometimes, especially with chest complications or breathing complications or cancer, they're literally put me through what they felt sometimes. So as he starts to step in, because he's coming in from this way, so they're all around the room. So when I go over there, they're coming in there. When I come over here, they're coming in here. But I'm feeling the pain in my chest from the heart attack. Now, they will only let me experience so much, so it's not hard on my system. However, it's what they make me attached to, so that way I know it's a heart attack. And I'm being told there wasn't a chance to say goodbye as well. Do you understand it? Okay, because remember how I talked about the different stages of heart attacks before? And sometimes there is that chance. Alright? Yeah, he's stepping in. He's making me move my chair. But he's the main person you wanted to talk to. Because that's what he's saying to me. He's your main person. I feel like this goes to both of you. He's saying to me that you're having a really hard time with his passing. He said, my wife is having a really hard time with my passing. Okay? So that's how I know wife, daughter. Alright? Who's Frank? Who's Frank? I know, he keeps wanting to talk about Frank. Who's Frank? Still here? Okay. And who is that to you? Okay. Now, who's Frank to you? Okay, I'm just gonna leave it. Because I keep being told somebody wants to talk about Frank, so I'm gonna leave that for just a moment until that person steps in. He just said to me that you're upset that he was taken from you. Because he said my wife is upset that I was taken from her. Recent passing, August. They're starting to show walls around you. And the words I keep getting from him are, tell her I still want her to stay close with the family, even though she's suffering over my passing. Do you understand why he's saying that? Okay? That's what he just said. I need her to stay close to the family because there's people that need her. And there's people that need the family. He makes me feel like this wall is up because you're upset that he was taken away. And I'm being told there's anger over it. Do you understand? Okay. He just said to me, no one can control that I was taken from you. But you still have to love the other family as well. Do you understand why he's saying it? He says it's important that you hear what I'm saying to you. This is what he just said. It's important you hear what I'm saying to you, okay? He said you cannot be upset with him because he didn't lose his life and I did. You're the only family he has and he needs you. And I want you to love him and respect him the way I did. Understand it? Are you having a hard time being around him, honey?
Yeah.
And it's because similar health conditions.
Exactly.
And because your husband was taken and he's still here. He said you cannot blame him for that. You cannot have anger towards him because God took me and God kept him here. He needs everyone's love and support because he's alone. And he needs the family. Do you understand it? Okay. That's what it's about. He's giving me all his emotion because he's upset. He says, I know my wife is upset. I know it's a lot for her to deal with because I died and he didn't. But he needs help too. And I don't want him to feel like he's lost everyone in his life because no one can handle the situation of being with him because my passing was too hard on them. That's what he just said to me. He says he's giving this validation to give other people comfort in the family because the family needs to stay together. Do you understand it? That's what it's about. And he keeps saying, he's my brother, he's my brother, he's my brother. So he wants you to continue, have him in your life, and give him the support that he needs. He's saying it's hard for you to be around him because it brings up turmoil is what I'm being told. But he's asking for the family to give those blessings. Asking for the family to still keep that closeness with him. Did you have a relationship with him before? Okay. But all of a sudden you feel like you can't? He's saying to me, it's going to get easier for you. He said, I understand why it's hard for her, but I don't want him to feel like he's alone, and I don't want him to die alone either. Do you understand it? So he's saying to me, he's going to try to give you strength. And my guide's saying to me, she needs to ask God for strength so she can keep that relationship and repair what's been broken. Even though they're showing me the chains, not that it's fully broken, but you've blocked yourself from him because it's too hard over the husband's passing. Do you understand it? That's what it's about. And he's saying to me, I understand why she feels the way she does. So he understands it. He sees your pain, but he also doesn't want him to be alone. So he's looking for that happy compromise, even if it's just calling and checking on him, just to start with. So that connection is still there. Do you understand it? Okay. He said, don't be angry that I left you. Because he's saying to me, the anger is still there. Okay. Alright. Let's see if he says anything else. He says to tell you that he loves you. He's saying to me you're a good support for her. Do you understand that? He says you're good support for each other and that she's been a really good support for you. Do you understand? He said my daughter is the one that's holding it together. Do you understand it? And he says it's for her. And then I just got thank you, meaning he's thanking you for that. But he said it's okay for you to grieve me too because you're not. Because you're staying strong for everyone else in the family. And it's time to let that go. Meaning that you have to start supporting each other as well. So just things that he's asking, things that he sees as far as how the healing is progressing, in different ways he's trying to give support and love to all of you. Okay? But he makes me feel like you need to continue to stay close as a family. And that she needs to be supported as well. Because he's saying she's been the backbone. To understand it. And he said it's okay for her to feel the anger and cry over me as well. Because he's saying to me you haven't allowed yourself to properly grieve. Do you understand it? Because my guide's saying it needs to happen. Because you're internalizing everything. And that's what it's about. So today, for whatever reason, that's your message. It's just that they see what's going on with you, and they're trying to give you the support and the love that you need and the guidance, so the healing process is easier for everybody. Okay? But he's saying, I don't want her to feel like she has to bear everything on her shoulders herself. But he's also thanking you for giving her the support. And he says, I knew she would. Because he's saying, That's how you are. To understand, you're strong for everybody. And he's saying she's a lot like him. To understand it, because when he said that to me, he goes, she's a lot like me. Wonderful. That's what it's about. Yeah, you know, it's like the chip off the shoulder, or the apple doesn't fall from the tree. That's how I feel between the two of you. You're very similar. Demeanor and everything. Do you understand it? Very, very, very similar as far as how you are. You take more after him than you do her. Perfect. Wonderful. So that's why he's saying he knew she would be. Meaning that he's seen it since the passing happened, and that he wouldn't expect anything different from her, but that she needs the support as well. Alright, I'm going to lose him in just a moment. I know there's so much more that he could say, but I'm being told that has to be the main message today, because it furthers the healing. Because they're always going to give what's going to help the most with the healing as far as how it is and the process. Okay? Alright, he's starting to pull his energy back. Sending loving energy. I can see the white dove as far as the peace across his chest, so it's his way of validating that his soul is at peace. Okay, and he's starting to go. Okay, good. I'm starting to disconnect.